evening. My name is Rita Garrison. I live at 363 Wildwood Drive. I was on my way over here this evening thinking about what was going to transpire. I attended the agenda meeting, so I think I have a pretty good idea of, where things are going to go. But, I consider you as members of the board and the staff that supports you. You're the board of directors of our town, and you have responsibility for good, wise use of the tax money and addressing issues facing this town. Yet I never hear any discussion or any of your opinions about anything at agenda meetings or town board meetings. So my first, other than to agree with whatever comes before you on this piece of paper in terms of the agenda. So I have a question. I know you can't answer questions, but maybe you want to volunteer to answer a question, is when does that discussion take place? Because it's my understanding, according to the open meetings laws, that those kinds of discussions are supposed to take place where the residents of the town have the opportunity to hear what you have to say. And I've never heard any discussion like that. And I meet at those meetings, so please, I'd love it if you would inform me of what meetings I am missing, because I promise you I'll be there because I care about the town. If I knew what you were thinking about, if I knew what you were planning, I probably would come out and support you. And I'd love to participate. I care about where I live, and I care about the welfare of the people in this town. But I feel that there's no opportunity, unless you're part of the inner circle, to even know what that is. And as a member of the town, I believe that you owe it to me, or as a board of directors, you owe it to let us know what's going on. If I went to a board of directors meeting, I would see a monthly report of what is the plan for the year. How are we progressing on that plan? What's the budget? How are we progressing on that budget? I mean, I'm not saying that a lot of the equipment that the Department of Public Works is purchasing isn't included in the budget, but I've never heard any of you ask, is that equipment included in the budget? How does it compare to what we've budgeted? Are you doing that someplace else? Because I would really like to know. I want to support you. I don't want to just argue with you. I want to be part of making this town a great place to live, but I don't feel you give me an opportunity, or anybody else in the town, to do that if we're not part of your inner circle. So please think about how you can make and let the people in this town know more about what's going on and how we can support you so that we can all be successful together. Thank you.
Yes, good evening. My name is Charlie Ennis. I'm a retired senior citizen living down at 1022 Rumson Road here in the town of Greece. I'd like to echo some of the comments the previous speaker made. I think they're very positive points and reflections that she put forward there. Interesting to note, I'm standing in front of at least 3 folks here that are the recipients of a legal education, law school graduates. It's good to see that. And hopefully the 3 of you, or the whole audience in front of me here, could perhaps begin in the not too distant future to work on redressing some of our town codes with respect to ethics and morality, perhaps upgrading the committee which already exists. Here we are, the 17th largest municipality in the state of New York. We can do better, certainly, than meet state minimum requirements with respect to ethics and morality, certainly as codified in the town code. It's a question. We look at neighboring communities, for example, the village of Brockport, where there have been perhaps some ethics and morality questions there in that government by an elected representative of the people, dealing with code enforcement of all things, which is of public interest. We'll see how that all plays out, but certainly we should try to be proactive here in the town of Greece to try to prevent a situation like that from ever occurring. And on a more environmental note, I would like the board to go forward with passing an ordinance, if possible, prohibiting smoking, for example, in town parks. I would invite anybody on this board or any citizen of the town of Greece to travel down Ladder Road, let's say, from between Long Pond Road and the Expressway, Do you see any landscaping or something that might be considered an eyesore or something that could use improvement? I'm not saying there's necessarily code, violations there, but I think the aesthetics driving, for example, that stretch of road, the ladder road between the expressway and Long Pond Road, if you look to your left, look to your right, you may see some areas that perhaps could use some improvement, certainly in terms of aesthetics. Also, the Russell Station being demolished here in the near future, I think the town perhaps should set up be strongly tuned in to what was going on there. I understand there's a lot of asbestos and other perhaps chemical things going on with that demolition, and that's something I think you folks on the town board hopefully are paying a very close attention to. Also, environmental concern, hydrofracking. Do we need it in the town of Greece? Perhaps you can all get together and vote against ever having hydrofracking here in the town of Greece. I think that's something which potentially is going to have a huge impact on our environment here in many parts of New York State, and perhaps we should pass a strong ordinance prohibiting hydrofracking here in the town of Greece. Thank you very much.
Anyone else for the public forum? Very good. This concludes the public forum.